silent.
Seeing as it is 8 o'clock, I will call the Thursday, January 13th, 2022 regular meeting of the Gardner City Council Finance Committee to order. The clerk will please call the roll.
President Kaczynskis.
Present.
Councilor Cormier.
Present.
Councilor Denalowitz.
Present.
I think all members are present. We have a quorum. Is anybody here recording the meeting? Besides you, Madison? Okay, item 1-1, review and approval of the meeting minutes of December 16th, 2022. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and accept them as presented.
Motion made by Councilor Cormier to waive the minutes, accept as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Denalowitz. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes. Item 2-1, in order appropriating $22,200 from free cash to South Gardner Fire Station abate and design project account. Now, we talked about this at our last meeting. We had asked for there to be a review of different areas that maybe, or buildings that maybe the equipment could be housed in without going through with this project, or before we consider going through with this project. Is there any new information on that?
And one of the things I think is wherever we would have to rent it can't be so-called cold storage either.
Correct.
We have to maintain a certain degree of heat. So.
Yeah, we have not yet found a location that does meet the heat requirements. Also, is just big enough to fit a fire truck inside. In the city, while there is a commercial construction garage storage facility currently being constructed in the city, that's still at least probably 2 years out. We just have not been able to find a place, nor do I think with what we're seeing with just the preliminary rent prices at that facility that's there, if we look at other places around the state, which we do want to keep all our fire equipment here in Gardner in the event that it is needed because of a big event that a big catastrophic event where we would need to pull out all the equipment. It would just be difficult, if not currently impossible, to find a place in the city, let alone once that place is built, probably quite expensive and probably triple the cost of what it would be to just fix the boiler right now. So if you'd still like information on that, we would still need a little time, as we simply can't find a place that meets those requirements and qualifications for that. But we can certainly keep looking if you require more time on that.
I just want to confirm that right now too. There's no immediate rush on this because everything's fine in the building in terms of just because it is cold right now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, when the heat is running, the boiler is not leaking. That's part of the old cast iron. Chief, do you have anything?
No, that's correct. I mean, the heat is running now. It's been running okay. Again, the state boiler inspector, when he went back this year to do the inspection again, did not even perform the inspection because it's already been failed. And I explained to him that we were pursuing, replacement options, and he said, okay, that's good.
So we still did receive a failing certificate of inspection because we had not done anything since last year when we were first notified of the initial failing.
Okay.
With the stuff like the building.
I did have a conversation with the chief at one point in this period, and he did point out something that we should consider also. A new heating system would probably go to considerably gas. The heating system that would be replaced is old, incredibly inefficient, probably built during coal era or when oil was 10 cents or 15 cents a gallon. and you didn't care about efficiency. So there would be an incredible cost saving, I would think. I'm not saying enough to offset the cost, but there would be at least an ongoing savings for the city in that. So I did have a conversation with the chief and wanted to share that, and I think that should be one of the considerations also. And then the second thing is, I think you brought it up, is we can't go out of town. This is city equipment, and this is an auxiliary piece of equipment, but hopefully you don't need it, and then you're just storing it, but in the event.
Yeah, it is ready to go. We do check it every day.
Exactly.
It did get pressed into service during the ice event the other day. Off-duty firefighters that live in that area jumped in the truck and started responding to calls.
Okay.
So it does get used on that, in that capacity.
Do you want to just keep it on the calendar until the next meeting? And I think at that time, if we don't have any further.
It works for me.
Personally, I think.
The viability of the building, I discussed a little bit, and my understanding the building otherwise is in good shape. That's correct,
The
right?
building is structurally sound. The only reason if you walk in it's cold, it's not so much the inefficiency of the building itself. There are plenty of inefficiencies. The boiler looks like a shed in someone's backyard, and if you walk into the boiler room, it's the hottest room in the whole building because it just comes through. The structure of the building is okay. The roof is in good shape. The bays are in good shape. It's still used for storage from 7 different city departments. We do have a report coming on that one. Mainly the different downtown items such as the Victorian lamps or things like that that require specialty care, that if you just store them in the regular cold storage building, there's a chance they could be damaged, and therefore we don't have our backup should something get damaged because it's hit by a plow or hit by a car. The different traffic lights that are not in use are stored in that building as well, so if one goes out, our backup systems are in that building. A lot of our emergency management equipment is in there in terms of our stockpile of PPE, our gowns, our things that are extra turnout gear for our firefighters. It is in good use, and then like I said the last time, we use it for training as well. So it is a very structurally sound and good, viable building. It's just an old, good, structurally sound and viable building.
But I think the consideration of there would be a very substantial savings on heat.
Yeah.
Again, I'll clarify that. I don't say that you'll pay for it.
Yeah,
At least there'll be an ongoing savings.
yeah, I mean. over
Efficiency,
time,
and I think we all should be concerned about efficiency. I mean, we're throwing, a lot of the heat just goes up the smokestack on an old boiler like that. Probably only 20–30% efficient as compared to modern equipment that they talk about.
The chief and the mayor were nice enough to give me a tour, and I got to see the boiler firsthand. It was, I think, over the summer. It's a very large. It's bigger than like a Volkswagen. It doesn't look very efficient. I'm not sure how it got in that room. It must have been in pieces, I believe I was told by
Probably
the
built
chief.
it in.
Yeah.
Also used the building for training too, I think you told me as well. So it does get a lot of uses. So.
But you're literally spending probably thousands of dollars just to heat the boiler.
Yeah.
Never mind getting any heat out of it. I think we're going to have to go along with it. I'm willing to wait 2 weeks. But, okay.
Third motion?
I don't think.
Oh, no, just keep it on.
Just keep it on there.
So we'll keep this item on.
And I don't think it was on the regular calendar, was it?
No, I never.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief.
All right, very well.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, item 2-2, in order transferring $200,000 from golf surplus/retained earnings to the golf course equipment expenditures. Council General Alex will not be participating in this item.
And as a member of the golf commission, abstain.
Thank you. Just want that on there. So, Mary Nicholson, this item, basically this is for equipment for the golf course. And
Yes.
they're looking to use their own funds for this. Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a case called the Emerson case in Massachusetts, in which the Supreme Judicial Court decided that if a entity of the city government is held in an enterprise fund, no tax dollars can be used towards assisting in the operations of that fund. So the golf course itself is held in the golf enterprise account that comes up whenever we have an annual budget. But It's funded solely from the revenue that it takes in, from rental fees, from membership fees, and things of that nature. And it's basically, for lack of a better term, the savings and operations account of the golf course. All of their budget has to be funded from that revenue that comes in. No tax dollars can be added to supplement that budget. And there are certain restrictions on what can be done, but they can only use as much money out of that account as the council votes to appropriate and allow them to use within a given year. Anything over what they have there remains in that account and basically compiles every year after year after year. If they don't use that certain amount, that builds up in the end. Last year we had a very successful year with the golf course, with a record high of membership fees coming in, with a just record high number of people using the facility, that we do have a lot more money in the enterprise account now in what's called retained earnings than we originally thought we were going to have. Now again, as we said before, for an enterprise account, retained earnings is the equivalent of free cash. It's the money that was either left over in the account that was not included in the budget, or items that were revenue that came in over budget, or expenses that came in under budget. This one, it was all revenue that came in over budget, and then the remaining amount that was in the fund. So there is a little more money to play with there. So Director Frank, who oversees the golf course, did send this letter that's included in your packet, saying that there were several pieces of equipment that has been old and requires a lot of maintenance and is costing them a lot of money in repairs, that they just like to get updated and replaced. A couple different mowers, one of which was purchased the first year that I was in preschool. So it's one of those that it's just, this is old equipment that we're looking to update. Now, if you'll notice, if you add up the different items that he has listed on his letter, it comes up to approximately $193,000, and the order before you is for $200,000. And the reason for that is, speaking with Director Frank, there's a lot of volatility in the market right now. If you look at just interest rates and the economy in general, last week on Monday, interest rates were at 3.31%. They're expected today, and they probably just did, to go up to 3.76. So with that, just in a week of time in its own there, prices with everything are fluctuating. The way things are staying on the shelves in terms of stockpiling is also fluctuating at a rapid amount. So we're looking to see if we can get that little extra flexibility in the appropriation, only because unlike a free cash expenditure where I would be more cautious to put in a contingency like that because then it would be stuck until the year closes again, it's an enterprise account. So if they don't use that part of that appropriation, it immediately falls back into the account. So there's a lot more wiggle room there than if this was regular free cash. So that is kind of the idea behind it, that if prices go up, or if we need to find another vendor because this specific vendor is now run out of stock for the rest of the year, we have that flexibility so that they can get all that equipment by the time the season starts.
Well, in going through the packet, I did notice that, I guess it's Frank pointed out that there's a lead time on some of these things that's very significant.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be even, I think even if you put your name on the list today, you might not even have it for this season.
Yeah.
We had the same issue with police cruisers just recently.
Correct.
I think they're wise, and looking at the age of all of this equipment is significant, the wear and tear. With that said, since it is their enterprise fund, and since they did it, this is the year to probably update things. One never knows whether the profits will be as high next year. I'll make a motion that we recommend passage of this this amount for the golf course.
I'll second that. So motion made by Councilor Clements, seconded by Councilor Lucas to recommend the order transferring $200,000 from golf surplus retained earnings to golf course equipment expenditures. All those in favor, is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Giroux, seconded by Councilor Cormier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.